much do you know about your insurance coverage? When it comes to the details of what's covered and what's not, it turns out there's a lot of confusion. Jennifer Houghton with PEMCO Insurance joins me now with some interesting statistics. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes,
so
we do have statistics.
Yeah, you got a lot. I've got it written down, don't worry. So PEMCO Northwest conducted a recent poll, found that fewer than 1/3 of people could answer several basic insurance questions correctly. Why is there so much confusion?
Well, there's a lot of confusion because you don't spend a lot of time looking at your insurance contract until you need it. So that what happens is when people need it, it can be stressful and unfamiliar. Our goal is to help people understand it and be more in tune and aware so that it's less stressful, so that they're more familiar, and just try and make it easier to understand.
Sure, less of a guessing game for when you really need it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with one that does trip people up. Only 22% of people know what happens if you crash your friend's car. So tell us, who actually pays in this situation?
Well, that is one of the most interesting ones because it actually depends. And people they kind of broke down the middle with it. 38% said they did, 28% said their friend's car did. And it really does depend because the insurance follows both the driver and the car depending on the situation.
Okay.
So it depends.
Okay. But again, it's important that we talk about it now so that you can review your policy before you lend your friend your car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is why we want to have this kind of conversation so that you know what you're stepping into and so you have a little bit of background when and if, hopefully not, you have this kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay, another surprising one. Only 26% knew whose insurance covers damage from a neighbor's tree falling on their house. Most people think it's the neighbor that pays.
They do, and they would be wrong. Because in most cases, I'm not even going to make a guess on the number, but most, it is your home insurance that is going to pay because it is protecting your property. That is its main goal. The only time that your neighbor's insurance would pay for this damage is if it was known that that tree was dead. Maybe you had complained about it and called an arborist, but those are such rare cases. So 99% of the time, you're just gonna start with your insurance, give them a call and say, a tree fell on my house.
Yeah, okay, good to know.
But that's why it's so important to trim those tree branches.
Absolutely, for sure. Okay, our next one. Only 18% of people knew that items stolen from their car are covered by homeowners insurance, not their auto insurance. Why is that one so misunderstood, you think?
Well, you think about it as the auto insurance covers the auto. So you think the things in the car would be covered, but that's not how it works. Those things are personal property and they would be covered by your homeowners or your renter's insurance. I found this out the hard way.
Oh.
And I found it out shockingly that even when I was in college, I actually needed riders or endorsements for my insurance because I had taken everything that I needed for my then hobby and put it in my car to go on a road trip, and it all got stolen.
Oh, no.
And that is when I learned a lot of these things.
Yeah, okay. Well, we don't want to turn
Yeah.
that way. That's why we're having this conversation ahead of time.
Learn it ahead of time. Look into it.
Yeah, what's the biggest takeaway for viewers from this poll? I mean, what should people do differently after hearing this?
I mean, realistically, the biggest takeaway is spend some time with your contracts. Understand them. If you have questions, call PEMCO. Call your insurance agent. Do some research so that you can understand what you've got, what it covers, how it's going to work, if you need additional things, or if you need to change something in advance because you don't like what's there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great advice. Where can people go to learn more about PEMCO and more about this study?
They can go to PEMCO.com.
All right, Jennifer, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.